Cadet Elena Vasquez crouched behind the twisted remains of a plasma cannon, her breath forming crystalline clouds in the thin atmosphere of Kepler 442b. The crimson warning lights of the Zephyrian command bunker pulsed ominously through the perpetual twilight, casting eerie shadows across the battlefield littered with the wreckage of both human and alien war machines. Her comm unit crackled to life, transmitting the voice of Commander Harrison from the orbital command ship. Cadet Vasquez, this is a direct order. Your position is compromised. Surrender immediately and await prisoner exchange negotiations. Elena's jaw tightened as she examined the tactical display on her wrist scanner. The Zephyrian base sprawled before her like a mechanical spider, its 8 defensive towers forming a perfect octagon around the central command structure. Intelligence reports indicated that the facility housed the quantum encryption codes that could turn the tide of the 3-year war between the Human Colonial Federation and the Zephyrian Empire. Negative, Command, she whispered into her comm, adjusting the frequency to avoid Zephyrian interceptors. I have a clear path to the objective. The static that followed spoke volumes about her superior's disapproval. Elena had always been the maverick in her class at the Titan Military Academy, the one who questioned established protocols and found unconventional solutions to impossible problems. Her instructors had called her reckless, her fellow cadets had called her brilliant. Today, she would prove them both right. The young woman activated her stealth generator, feeling the familiar tingling sensation as the device bent light around her form. She had perhaps 20 minutes before the power cell depleted and the Zephyrian patrols were becoming more frequent. Their insectoid forms moved with unsettling precision, their compound eyes scanning for any sign of human presence. Elena sprinted across the open ground, her boots barely making contact with the rocky surface. The reduced gravity of Kepler 442b worked in her favor, allowing her to cover distances that would have been impossible on Earth. She reached the base's perimeter wall and pressed herself against the smooth, biometallic surface that seemed to pulse with its own alien heartbeat. The ventilation shafts were too narrow for adult soldiers, but Elena's petite frame had always been an advantage in tight spaces. She located an intake port and began her descent into the enemy stronghold, her scanner mapping the maze of corridors ahead. The Zephyrians had evolved on a world with different atmospheric conditions requiring constant climate control in their facilities. Elena followed the air currents, knowing they would lead her to the central processing unit where the encryption codes were stored. As she moved through the cramped passages, she could hear the chittering communication of the alien guards below, their language a symphony of clicks and whistles that her universal translator struggled to decipher. 20 minutes later, she emerged into the main server chamber, a cathedral-like space filled with towering biomechanical processors that hummed with otherworldly energy. The quantum encryption device sat at the center, a crystalline structure that seemed to contain swirling galaxies within its faceted surface. Elena's fingers flew over her portable hacking device, interfacing with the alien technology through trial and error. The Zephyrian security systems were formidable, but they had been designed to repel conventional attacks, not the intuitive problem-solving of a human mind driven by pure determination. As alarms began to blare throughout the facility, Elena smiled grimly. She had not only extracted the encryption codes but had also uploaded a virus that would systematically shut down the base's defensive systems. The sound of approaching footsteps echoed through the chamber as Zephyrian soldiers converged on her position. "Command, this is Cadet Vasquez," she spoke into her comm as she prepared her weapons. "Objective secured. The base is yours." The last thing the Zephyrians expected was for their supposedly defeated enemy to hold the keys to their own fortress. Elena had turned certain defeat into impossible victory, proving that sometimes the most unlikely cadet could accomplish what entire armies could not.